Welcome to this week's Savvy Solopreneur Sessions. I'm Summer Alexander, your marketing implementation mentor.
And I'm Laura Knights, your life and business strategist. And this week's question comes from Patricia. So, Patricia is saying, I am a cultural competence trainer, and I have been in this industry for the last 10 years. Recently, I was approached to provide a training for a company by one of my old colleagues. She paid me for the training based on an already established budget she had. I was so excited to be offered money for my skills that I just agreed to do it. The training went really well, and some other opportunities emerged as a result. I could really see myself working independently to make money doing this. However, I'm not sure how much to charge now that the ball is in my court for these upcoming opportunities. Do you have any advice on this? Great question, Patricia. And Summer and I want to share with you three things to consider when pricing your services. So, the first thing is value. And this is a two-part one. The value you bring and the value you offer. So let's talk about the value you bring first. You have to think about what is it that you bring to the table that might be different from someone else coming to do a training like this. So first of all, you said in your question that you have 10 years of experience in the field. So quite a bit of expertise, and I once read that if you have 10 years in one area, you can consider yourself a master in it. So you have some expertise, and you have to think about all the years of experience, the training, the education, the industry knowledge. I would imagine in your field, knowledge of laws and equal opportunity type of things that might be useful to a corporation who wanted to do some cultural competence training. So that's the first part. The second part is the value you offer. So think about these companies where you will be doing this training. What transformation will you provide based on the content that you give them? So think about it. What would a company gain? They would gain knowledgeable employees who would probably not do things that could cause the company to be sued when it comes to diversity or harassment or any of these things that I'm sure you might cover in a cultural competency training. So think about the team morale that might be boosted as a result of this training, the productivity that might be boosted, and how that could affect the company's bottom line. So think about all the benefits the company would get from working with a trainer like you.
Excellent, excellent. And Patricia, I'm going to come in with the second factor to consider when trying to determine how to price your offering, and that's going to be the cost. And cost can be kind of two-pronged as well because you want to, of course, consider all your fixed costs. In other words, what is it going to be costing you in time and materials that you may have to print or develop for the training? What's it going to cost you in terms of putting the training on? And then you also want to consider what is called an opportunity cost. What will you not be able to do because you're doing this training? And you want to factor that in as well. And of course, you have to consider your time. That's one that we so often see entrepreneurs kind of brush under the table, and they're
Yeah.
forgetting to consider that, it actually takes a whole lot of hours outside of the training to prep, to prepare, to plan, to maybe you meet one-on-one with
Hmm.
a department head first to kind of get an understanding of what the culture is in that company. All of that has to be considered in your overall pricing. And so the second part of cost, Patricia, is going to be the competition. So you have to do a little bit of research here. You want to know what it would cost this company to get the kind of training and expertise that you're going to be providing. What would it cost them to get that elsewhere? Now, I don't want you to become what I call the creepy competitor stalker, where you're driving around with all black on and a dark van with tinted windows, peeking in people's windows. But you do want to do a little bit of research on people who are offering the same kind of training that you are and see what their pricing is, because that kind of tells you what the market will bear in terms of the services that you provide. And then keep this one little factor that I always tell my entrepreneurs that I work with to consider, and that's that you don't necessarily want to compete on price. In other words, once you find out what the competitors are charging, don't try and come in and undercut them. Always strive to provide more value before reducing your price. A third factor that you want to consider, and this is a really, really big one that Laura and I see, and that is your confidence. So, what we're hearing from your question is that you have the expertise, you put the time in, you have the knowledge, and you have the skills. But so often, when you take all of that in and step out onto the entrepreneurial pathway versus working for a company, all of this stuff comes up like fear, anxiety, and we start kind of backing away and thinking, oh my God, who am I to charge for what it is I do, and get any kind of dollar amount. So we end up doing like you did, letting people tell us what they'll charge us versus establishing pricing based on, like Laura said, the value, and then, as I explained, those costs. So you want to work on that confidence factor, and that it gets better with time, but don't discount the expertise and that 10 years of skills and knowledge and education and training that you've been through when setting your pricing.
Wonderful. So those are your three things to consider: value, cost, and confidence, Patricia. Lastly, I would just throw in where you start. You're just starting your business. So where you start with your pricing doesn't have to be where you stay forever. Once you get a couple of clients under your belt and you get some testimonials from them, make sure you get testimonials from them. Then you have what we call social proof. And that means proof from people who have paid you for your services, your clients, that you are as good as you say you are. Once you have that social proof, then you're able to boost your prices at a later point in your business. So this is just some place to get started. Okay? So how about you? What things do you consider when you are doing your prices? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and also feel free to leave us a question for a future edition of the Savvy Solopreneur Session. So like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And until then, business blessings.
Business blessings.